We are the Catalan Independentist Resistance, and you are listening to a new update from Radio Hadrian in Free Catalonia.
To err is human. To forgive is divine. To rectify is for wise people. Alexander Pope. Good afternoon, this is David Rabantos, your host. This is chapter 64 of Radio Hadrian. This program made possible because Cheryl Scott lets us do it in KA Radio and because Delia Forrest conversed with Cheryl to make this possible. We are meeting you here this month of September. We want to make this program more listened to, and we're going to think of ways to make this happen, but we know that it's for minorities because our positions are for the free-thinking ones, and sadly at this point in the world in general, and I'm sorry to say in Scotland in particular, free-thinking people are in the minority. Here from Catalonia, where we send you news, we're growing in support. We are realizing much more people realize we have been betrayed by our own side. And sadly, in Scotland, I get attacked. Sorry to say that, but I'm not Scottish, but I put my life on the line doing a hunger strike for the unilateral declaration of independence of Scotland and Catalonia, which ended in 62 days of me being tortured and kidnapped by Spanish state. But I'm sure United Kingdom was not too unhappy about that. And most of all, I have an objectivity that most card holders of the SNP don't have. This is about independence. This is not about the SNP. We've said it a few times here. Westminster made the SNP strong so they could burst it anytime they wanted. We're going to talk about, of course, about the Alex Salmond harassment case and the case he brought in against the government in Scotland in court. But we also want to comment, I would like some of you to help us translate to Scots Gaelic our ideals. It's just like half a page or less. It's one paragraph. We already have it in 19 languages, including Balinese, Nahuatl, Mauritius, Creole. And we want to have this open to every country in the world. We got 4 new languages this week: Balinese, Indonesian, Lithuanian, and Mauritius language. And having Gaelic would be one of our priorities. So if you're so nice to make the effort, it's 10 minutes of your time. Thanks in advance. In this program, we're going to talk about the issue with Alex Salmond and him quitting the SNP for the time being. The conflict between some fish boats between French and British fishermen, and the rest is going to be themes about things going on in Catalonia in the next days, like Torra asking not the Article 155 to be applied again, and some shenanigans, and some people fighting over this yellow ribbon. This yellow ribbon is a trick Spain has devised, so we don't think about independence and we keep thinking about secondary things. So with that, we'll do the program. And also, so we start. On the issue about Alex Salmond and the possible harassment of 2 women while he was First Minister, it's an issue that is very complicated. And let's see how we approach this, because we live in a society, we live in times where telling the truth is very hard, and expressing free opinions, because everybody's so biased and everything's so partisan and confrontational that no matter how you approach things, you're gonna get angry attacks from one side or maybe both sides of a story. So first of all, we should emphasize the abused positions in power, and mainly it's men in positions in power, though happily that is slowly changing. But it's not only about gender, it's about power. But power normally, not normally, but in the majority, is held by men. Men are holding the power positions more often. So nobody is a saint, and we should not put our ideological thing into this. If we happen to be, because we have two big isms confronting in this. And some people might have a big dilemma, because if they are nationalist feminist or feminist nationalist, now there must be having a problem to conciliate, to put together their both ideologies. And that's what the system wants. We've already told here sometimes that feminism is taken over by some infiltrators that really just want people to get away from feminism by embracing very radical approach. And nationalism, both in Scotland and Catalonia, is taken over by moles like Nicola Sturgeon and Alex Salmond himself. So, as it happens lots of times, who should you choose, Trump or Clinton? None of the two. Who are you siding with in Catalonia? With the ones putting the yellow ribbons, or the one taking them away? With none, because that is only to keep people busy and not looking at the big picture. So in this case, it seems to be the same. There's one possibility, is that this thing happened, and people are considering that this is to frame Alex Salmond because he's pro-independence. But we learned from Leo Strauss that the powers that be have to keep us guessing. 99% of people is always wrong, because that's what the plan is. 99% of people in Scotland, if not more, is incapable of accepting that the Scottish referendum was rigged by the SNP in the persons of Nicola Sturgeon and Alex Salmond, under whose guard the referendum happened. So in law they have what's called culpa in vigilando. I mean, they are the ones that should make sure that no shenanigans happened. And the shenanigans happened, and they stole independence from you. It was under their guard. So it's their responsibility, but it's their fault. It's their blame, because they work for the other side. That's why they work. That's why they are members of the Privy Council of the Queen of England. So these things should be obvious by the ones that are not suffering from cognitive dissonance. So the question is, probably it's not that they were harassed, and probably it's not that this is against Alex Salmond because he's a nationalist. This is because, as we mentioned, United Kingdom made a big effort to break the grassroots organizations after the referendum and make everybody join the SNP. And then they can burst the SNP when the time comes, and that's what they're doing. So both Nicola Sturgeon and Alex Salmond and London are together in this, because this is a script. Everything is scripted. So they're just split. They always do the same. They split parties now and again, because everybody who's splitting a party works for London or works for Madrid. We've seen it happen in Catalonia so many times. So the truth is that if you're siding with the two women, because it's also an artificial process where the laws were changed and this was brought and under the new law. So everything is a bit manufactured, it seems. But I just say it seems because I have no position in this, because both positions are both wrong. This is about bursting independence, of which Alex Salmond is not part of, because he made independence impossible by letting the referendum be rigged under his nose. There's very respected people for me that thinks he's being blackmailed, but me, as a person that, not even being Scottish, which I'm not, is ready to lose life for the independences of Scotland and Catalonia, I can have no sympathy, and I cannot consider him any less traitor. Somebody who backs down because he's being blackmailed, he is not worthy of being called a defender of Scottish independence. So it doesn't make it for me. So this is not siding with the women. This is not siding with Salmond. This is realizing that we again are seeing a plot of the masters, or the ones that think that the masters of the world, that are making this happen to advance their own agenda. And we'll see how this evolves. But nothing good will come for independence out of this, because that's the plan why it happened, but not because hurting Alex Salmond, you hurt independence. But Alex Salmond is part of his own demise, the same way as Partido Popular were part of their own demise in 2004 when they let the attacks, the bomb attacks in Madrid happen. It's not against them, it's they are part of the plot. Alex Salmond is part of this plot to bring down independence. So that's what I had to say for it today. Second theme of direct interest for Scottish people is the tiff that happened between something about 35 small wooden French boats and 5 iron British boats. I think it's in the Channel. And it has to do with Brexit and rights of fishing and the Brexit or other Brexit or whatever. This is a bit the same thing as the problem with yellow ribbons in Catalonia. The process in Catalonia is not bringing independence. Only Directa 68, the party I belong to, will bring independence, bringing down all those so-called indie parties that actually they're not. And Brexit won't happen. We've been saying it a long time ago, and now it happens. George Soros is putting money and influence trying to avoid Brexit. And, well, the things that he wants, you know, that they normally happen. So all this violence between French and British fishermen on the Brexit is to scare people of Brexit, the same way as the tiffs between Yellow Ribbon and against Yellow Ribbon are to scare people of independence. It's always the same plot. But sadly, a minority is awake, and a large majority keeps watching television and reading newspapers and thinking that there is some truth in that. And some people think that by reading The National, they're going to know the truth. Well, wrong. The National, as you know, belongs to Gannett Group with close links with the CIA. So the last thing the National owners would want is the independence of Scotland and Trident to have to be moved away from the Clyde. So that's about Salmond. That was about the Brexit issue. And then to Catalonia, you've possibly seen it because there's an escalate. There's like 1,000 zillion videos about people putting ribbons in places and people cutting off ribbons, which is the way processes do. We don't call them independentists anymore because they're not pushing for independence, no matter how much they think they do. Because they're following paid flutists, paid pipers that are paid by Spain. So everybody you know, except us, everybody you know in the Catalan process works underground for Madrid. And they made 2 fake declarations of independence in October. So to avoid people wanting to lynch these people for having betrayed us, some of them have been mockingly put in prison and some pretend to be in exile like Puigdemont himself. And to avoid people thinking how we were betrayed in 2014, in 2015, 2017, and in 2018, they invented this yellow ribbon thing. And then you have videos of people being harassed for putting ribbons or for taking them away. And last week, it seems they say that a pro-Indy guy broke the nose of a woman that was cutting off ribbons. Then again, we said it. We said all this ribbon shenanigans is to detract attention from the fact that the Indy side has let us down and to have a rise in violence. And it has happened already. When you know the script, you always get it right. So now they put fake pictures, and that is pushing for genocide of the Catalans. And we would demand that, of course, our government works for the other side. But normally these people should be in front of the International Court of Justice in The Hague, because they're pushing for the genocide of Catalans when they're putting fake pictures of 2012 in America saying that it's a broken nose last week in Barcelona. And then you put images of somebody doing a rhinoplastia. And then there's some newspapers in Madrid, they put these pictures as if it was this woman that was hit or not hit, because we don't know anymore, last week. But what is worse, the fascistic Spanish party Ciudadanos organized a concentration in support of this person. It's funny because it was for peace and to recover convivence. And they ended up hitting a television camera. And the most idiotic thing is that this camera, they thought it was from Catalan TV3, but it happened to be from Spanish Telemadrid. but they ended up hitting him. So these people are dangerous. Spaniards, but it's the way to scare people. The same way when they stole referendum from you, they put a couple hundred dudes in George Square to scare everybody about UDI. That's what they did. And here it's the same thing. They put like people you wouldn't want to live in the same city with, doing all kind of idiotic things to scare you off independence. Well, all this is a mockery, and we shouldn't put attention to it. Next week there's gonna be in Catalonia, the puppet president Torra is asking the Spanish president not to apply Article 155 again, but it's all mockery because the article that should have been applied had independence been declared, which it didn't, was Article 166 with state of siege, alarm, and that. But they applied 155. Why? Because independence was not declared. So it's a bit, all is kind of a joke. The people in prison are part of the system. They are fake prisoners even when they're in prison. And this Torra demanding 155 not to be applied means he's part of the show. Another big thing is we have declared that we won a referendum of independence 11 months ago, and we are not independent, and we don't know when we're going to be. But this Kim Torra is going to make a conference next week to tell us what the roadmap is to independence, which is a bit peculiar after 11 months after you've already won independence. But then the Catalan government is telling us that they're developing the digital republic. Everything is symbolic, virtual, and digital because they didn't do anything. They didn't declare independence. That's why they didn't bring the flag down. That's why no country recognized Catalan independence, but no country denied it either because it didn't happen. It's not as much that no country recognized Catalan independence. It's that nobody denied it either, which on itself, it's still more telling that nothing happened. Nobody supported it, but nobody denied it because it didn't happen. So it's one of the biggest tricks of all times. Juggling about everything is about a republic that wasn't declared. We have parties for the republic. We have grassroots organizations for the defense of a republic that doesn't say Catalan in it anymore. And they are subliminally working for Spanish Republic. So independence is again dished out. And to finish this short edition, this week we've recovered an article of Pere Bonin which tells us that if Mahatma Gandhi had been put in a psychiatric ward, maybe India was still under British thumb. And it was an article telling how I had been put in a mental institution, probably because I was telling the truth. And that goes to close some mouths about if I should be leading this movement, if who I work for, or what I think of people. It's an article that somebody reading Catalan or Spanish could get. It's called Hungry for Freedom. And there's also the manifesto of the hunger strike. If you type my name in Google, you'll probably find it. Finally, we've seen some concept we want to talk about. This. That's the name of the chapter. It's about changing your mind. I made so many mistakes in my life, but I've changed my mind. Most of the times it's because somebody has shown me that I was wrong. And that doesn't make me an idiot. What makes you an idiot is not making an error. I've made lots. What makes you an idiot is that when somebody is trying to put you out of your mistake, like the Catalan process, which is a trick, you react attacking him and telling him that he considers you an idiot. No. You were not an idiot before you reacted as one. We don't consider these people idiot because otherwise we wouldn't have put our lives on the line for somebody, some people we consider to be idiots, because we would be idiots ourselves, isn't it? Somebody that expects a bunch of idiots to react, to rehumanize themselves, to come out of the chasm that politicians and media put us in for the last centuries. it would be idiotic of me to expect these people to come out of this trance, to come out of Plato's cave, to come out of this Truman Show and risk my life for it. I've lost so many things for this fight. So, no, we respect you and we wait for you, but this is not debatable. We've been betrayed, and that's a fact. We've proven it, and most of you are scared to look at the truth, but that doesn't make it any less truth. It doesn't matter if you don't want to take a look and see that 2 + 2 make 4. Most Catalans, and absolutely almost every Scottish, keep insisting that 2 + 2 makes 964. And that is not the truth. And it doesn't matter how much you insist in following traitor leaders, both in Scotland, in Basque Country, in Ireland, or in Catalonia. We've done our homework. We found that they're traitors. Every day we speak with people that tell us, now I understand everything. I've been in this organization, in this part, and in this other organization, and nothing was right. And now I understand it because they work for the other side. Thanks, David, for clarifying things for us. We are very positive here in Catalonia. We managed to pick up with our documentary. It's going to be The Lie, exposing the lies the Scottish people and Catalan people are suffering. More people are joining our party, and we are convinced. We're looking forward to the 11th of September. We're going to meet lots of people in the Catalan National Day, and we count that we're going to be able to declare independence in Catalonia by unveiling the enormous lie and trick that we've suffered, and that will help decisively people in Scotland to open their eyes. I don't really care that lots of people with mob mentality keep attacking me. It's sad because most of them are not ready to renounce anything for the freedom of Scotland, but they dare attack those of us who do put things on the line, including our life, for the independence, not only of Catalonia, but of Scotland. So it doesn't matter how much they attack us, because we're doing it with our heart and with all our brain. We are winning this. We're going to win. Visca Catalunya lliure. Saora luba gubra.
This has been another update from the Catalan Independentist Resistance from Radio Hadrian. Remember that you can follow us on social media, either on Facebook, YouTube, our Twitter account, Instagram, Google, Telegram, and also on iVoox.